Hello friends, followers and channel members, welcome to another video here today in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And in this video today we're going to be having an updated look at the Latin VFR A321neo Airbus. Now of course, if you are familiar with this channel, then most of the aircraft that we fly on our live streams, based on the fact that we fly mostly EasyJet routes, are of course done in the A320, either the Neo from FlyByWire or the Phoenix A320. But Latin VFR for a while now have brought out some other variants. Now I first reviewed the A321neo that they released a few months ago, and to be honest, when that initially came out I was not that impressed. It was basically an aircraft which was modelled on the default A320 and effectively just had an A321 body and skin. Well, things have come a long way since that, and not just because Latin VFR themselves have updated this aircraft, they've also done the entire Airbus family. Latin VFR now make an A319, the A320, the A321neo, which is what we're going to be looking at today, but they also make the Airbus A318, the baby bus, which is used quite a lot by Air France, of course, flying shorter routes. But what really does interest me is this aircraft, this A321neo. Now of course, they don't just make the standard Neo, they also make the LR version, both with the LEAP engines and also the Pratt & Whitney. What makes this quite exciting, of course, is this is the A320 family member, which can do transatlantic crossings. And TAP Air Portugal and Aer Lingus both take advantage of this aircraft for those routes, flying obviously between Portugal and the eastern side of the USA, New York, Philadelphia, Boston, for example. And of course, given that it is simply just an Airbus A320, it's something which I find quite exciting, being able to take this kind of aircraft on that kind of journey. But just how realistic is the aircraft from a systems point of view? Is it something that we could fly reliably on VATSIM, for example? Well, if we have a look at the aircraft as it is in its default state, you'll see that there really actually isn't that much to shout about. Yes, Latin VFR themselves have created 4 different aircraft, each with their own flight characteristics, engine power, fuel capacity and maximum takeoff weight, but the systems are still lacking because they are based on the default A320 from Azobo. They've added, however, an EFB, which is a nice touch, but really, if I'm going to take this kind of aircraft transatlantic, then I'm going to need a lot more. Enter then Horizon Simulations. Horizon Simulations are not new with their mod for the Latin VFR, but they have recently updated it and I have been checking this out recently. So Horizon Simulations have created a freeware mod which essentially brings in the wonderful fly-by-wire systems from the fly-by-wire team into the Latin VFR aircraft, the A321 and also the A318, 19, etc. Having the fly-by-wire systems then in this A321neo sounds quite exciting. The Horizon team have given us also accurate sim brief profiles for all of the Latin VFR aircraft with their mod, and of course it also provides GSX configurations so that everything looks nice when users of GSX want catering vehicles and stairs coming up to the aircraft. Again, these are all available for free to download, and I've popped links in the video description down below so you can go and check this out. Full installation details are also included, but what is important is that you download the SimBridge program and have that installed, and that can be downloaded either through the FlyByWire installer or also the Headwind installer. And with this update then, it means that you now get the FlyByWire EFB, you get proper adjusted LNAV and VNAV flight models which have also been included. Things like SimBrief importing is just as it is in the FlyByWire A32NX. So if you are familiar with that aircraft, imagine having the Airbus A321neo LR version, but with all the great features of the FlyByWire A32NX. What is quite important though is the big update into now what they're calling version 2.0.1 for the Horizon add-on has migrated some core changes from the A32NX into the Latin VFR aircraft. So there have been quite a few changes with regards to what is running around in the background, which we don't always see, but now makes this aircraft much more realistic. Things like flight model changes, sounds, visuals, seat mapping has also been redone, so the A321neo, for example, can now carry up to 240 passengers. So now we've got the amazing fly-by-wire systems available on this aircraft. What's it actually like to fly? Well, based here at Toulouse, I thought obviously makes sense, being a technically brand new aircraft to take out of the hangar. I wanted to do a few circuits just to see how it handled and what it was like when landing. Originally, when Latin VFR brought out the A321 and I reviewed it, I found it really unrealistic when it came to coming in to land. In fact, it just floated half the way down the runway and never actually seemed to want to touch down. Well, I am pleased to say that both with refining that Latin VFR have done and with the new flight model courtesy of Fly-by-Wire and the Horizon simulations, this aircraft now behaves much better. And this is where I want you guys to chip in. I want you to let me know down in the comments below what you think of the A321 from Latin VFR with this new Horizon mod. Not just the A321 of course, but also the mods that they have created for the A318 and the A319 of course. I'd love to hear what your experiences are now that you're flying this aircraft around Microsoft Flight Simulator's world with the mod included, because for me it seems like a transatlantic journey in this aircraft. Live stream might be on the cards very soon. Sounds quite exciting. One very interesting thing to note about the A321neo aircraft as well is in real life this aircraft doesn't flare like conventional Airbuses. We know that from 30 feet the nose of the aircraft starts to pitch down and you pull back to maintain a nice flare and soft landing. Well, the A321neo just doesn't do this, so if you start to pull back too much on that side stick, well then you are going to float down the runway. Has that been implemented in this virtual representation? I haven't had enough time to try it out, but I'd love to hear how you guys have found landing this aircraft in particular, because that is one key defining characteristic of the A321neo aircraft. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, then please don't forget to leave a like. If you wish, you can also now support the channel further using Super Thanks, which is available on all videos across the channel. Of course, if you are new to us, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos and of course our live streamed content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in our next video. Bye bye.